how much is too much price for your coaching program? You see, we have personally sold $3,000, $5,000, $10,000, $12,000, $18,000, $20,000, $25,000, $50,000, and even $70,000 priced coaching programs in our clients' challenges. So, what does really determine the price of coaching programs? Today, I'm going to be talking about the two factors that are very, very crucial when you're determining the prices. Okay, and towards the end, I'm going to share with you one trick that we have personally used in the challenges that has helped us go from 5% conversion to 40% conversions in our challenges. Okay, so make sure you watch till the end. Now, before I share with you those two factors, there's this amazing story that I want to share with you, and it's very, very important. Okay, so almost a year ago, there's a friend of mine who was at a very bad spot, right? And he had around negative $100 in his bank account. He was at such a bad spot that he didn't know what to do, right? And at the time, he was working with a coach, with his coach, who is a very renowned coach in our industry, right? And very, very big coach. So what my friend did was he simply went on to a different podcast hosts. I'm talking about the bigger ones, the ones that had like almost like 100,000 downloads a month, like in the top 5% of the podcasts, right? And he reached out to them and he said, hey, I have this person who would want to be on your podcast. Would you like to host him on your podcast? And since this coach of his was very renowned in the industry, the podcast hosts knew him, so they wanted him to be on their podcast. And so they said yes. When they said yes, he went to the coach and said, hey coach, like I have already booked you in a podcast. Would you like to come up and speak on this podcast, like, right? And guess what he said? Sure, I would love to be on that podcast. And since they had huge downloads themselves, the podcast hosts, what he did was like the coach got a lot of attention, so he was happy, and the podcast host was happy because he got a very big coach on his podcast and his views went a lot more, right? Now, guess what happened? Both of them were happy, but there's one thing that my friend did was crazy. Now, during the process, he built relationships with these podcast hosts. Now, guess what? The next time he was working with another friend of his who was a very renowned coach as well. What he did was he went on to those podcast hosts that he had already created relationships with. He went on to them and said, hey, I would love to have this person on your podcast as well. Would you like to book him in? Now what's happening is like he is constantly building relationship with these podcast hosts, like the big ones, and at the same time he is helping the coaches, who not a lot of people know about but have got really good results, to be on their podcast and talk about their story. Now both of these people are happy, and in the middle, my friend is getting a lot of what we call case studies, right? Now that is the first factor of determining your price: case studies. Now what do I mean by case study? Case studies are a few of your first clients that you personally work with to prove your work, right? Now what do I mean by proving your work? Let's say you are a coach and you're a sales coach, and you're helping different salespeople get their closing rate to up to 80%. I'm just giving an example. Okay, so that is your thing. Now the first few salespeople that you personally work with are going to determine what kind of results you're going to give to them, right? And if you're helping them in a really good way and they are able to scale their increase their closing rates to 80% or something, anything of that around that sort, then you're proving your work. So you're building up some case studies. Now these case studies are going to become your foundation of the pricing of your coaching programs. Okay, now when you work with these people closely, right, and you give them the results, you determine what we call is value of your coaching program. That is the second factor that determines the pricing: the value of your coaching program. Now the value of your coaching program is basically what people get when they invest in your coaching program, right? Now for my particular friend, he was helping people to be on top 5% of the podcast, which had around 50,000 downloads to 500,000, even million downloads a month. And that was the kind of attention that he was determining. If you were able to be on the top podcast and get like at least 200 300,000 people to listen to you, what would you say to them, and what value would that bring to your business, right? That determined the value of your coaching program or of your service, right? When you know that, you will be able to charge high ticket for your programs, or low ticket for your programs. Because if your offer is of low value, you will be charging low ticket. If your offer is of high value, then you can charge high ticket for your offers. Now, how do you determine the value? Right, by working with the case study clients. Case study clients are the first 5 clients or 10 clients that you personally closely work with one on one, or let's say group wise, and you give them the results. And when you work with them, you figure out, okay, my clients are getting this kind of results, so here's what I can charge for my offers. Right, so for example, at the beginning, personally I was charging very low ticket for, like, very low ticket for creating challenges for our clients. And when I was doing that, I knew, right, I knew I could get results. And I did get results, like 6-figure results for our clients. Now that determined my own premium value offer. Right, and now I'm more confident about my offer, because I know that if I work with my clients, this is how much I can make them. See what I mean? So at the beginning, you have to work with a few clients, um, as case studies, to work with them one on one and help them get the results that you are looking to help people get. Right, and in the process, you will be knowing, okay, I'm able to give them so much results, so much value. Now this is what I can charge from it. Right, so if you remember, I talked about in a past few videos when I was talking about the premium value offers. I did mention this, that if you are able to make someone or save someone 6 figures, 7 figures, whatever is it, you can charge 1/10 of the money. Right, now everything can be associated with money. I have already talked about that in that particular video, so watch that over here now, or over here. And once you watch that, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. Right, so 1/10 of the amount that you can make or save someone. Right, now that becomes your price. Now, what is that one trick that we used that helped our conversions go from 5% to 40%? Now, when we were doing the challenge at the beginning, we were just having one offer. Right, so let's say we wanted to sell an $11,000 offer through the coaching program. Now what happened was, through the challenges. What happened was, whenever we pitched that particular offer, people would be like, okay, now he's charging $11,000. Now what they would do is simply they would go out and see what are the other people doing, right? Other coaches in the same industry are doing, and then they would compare our offer with theirs, and then they will see, okay, this is what they are giving, this is what you are giving. Okay, and then now I know that, hey, we have more value over there, or we have more value over here. Now what we did was, in the next challenge, we went from presenting one offer to presenting 3 offers. Right, and now what we said was, like, $11,000 offer was the lowest offer that we had. And then we raised that price to 12,000 actually. And then we had an $18,000 offer, and we had a $25,000 offer. What happened blew our mind. Right, people stopped comparing our offers to somebody else's offer and started comparing the 3 things that we gave them to compare. Now over here they had 3 prices. Now most of them went for 12,000. Now 12,000 became the cheapest option over here, so that made more sense to them. And then some of them got the 18K offer, and some of them, a fraction of them, like two of the 40 people who invested, got into the 25K offer. Now the 25K offers are the premium clients, are the most premium clients, and they will be super easy to work with. And even the 12K one, you will be like, more and more people will be getting the lower ticket offer, which is the 12K offer, got into that, and they became really good clients. Now what was the lesson over here is that if you do not give people a reason to compare the prices within your stuff, they're going to compare your prices with somebody else's offer. Right, so why not just give them the option yourself, so that they can compare and make a decision inside of your own challenges, or any other way that you're selling. Okay, so I hope this whole video was helpful and you got some lessons out of it. So today's challenge of the day is to just figure out the 3 packages that you would love to sell, and if you have a coaching program, just change the timeline and raise your prices accordingly. Okay, so I hope this was helpful. I'm going to see you in the next one. Till then, keep creating for a change.